So I've realized a couple of things throughout the last week and day. In a meditation, I met a little caged guy inside of myself, a part of myself or an aspect of self that was really desperate to get self realization. And it basically said either I become free from suffering and I have enlightenment or a spiritual breakthrough or whatever that means, or I die. So he was completely unwilling to live if this didn't happen. I had to be enlightened now. It was like very painful, um, screaming almost, and like banging on the walls of his cage, willing to do whatever in order not to keep on suffering. Um, and I don't really know what to do with that guy. Um, he's a bit all or nothing, and he's suicidal even. Like, I'm not suicidal. I don't feel like that, and I don't think I would ever go towards something like that. But there's an aspect of me that is really, really, really rejecting life, it seems, and it wants to be free from it, it seems. It wants to be free from suffering, and it is in spirituality to get free, like to get this ultimate freedom. That's what it is seeking in it. And I find that quite interesting because enlightenment or self realization, as I see it, is also about a complete embrace of life and about a free flow of energy, which means that you cannot be in resistance to things, um, especially not to suffering. And today I made a new friend who said something very wise, or something that at least very much hit me, which was that I am on this path and I should enjoy it. And he watched a couple of my YouTube videos, said that it was interesting for him to see that in some of them I got cold feet, like touched the water and got cold feet, and then turned my back on spirituality or said things like fuck it or kind of exit the game. And I realized that this has been my way of dealing with this guy or that aspect of self that doesn't want to live. Like, somehow the spiritual longing is intertwined with suffering and being incapable of handling this suffering, or being incapable of just being with it and bearing it and accepting that it is terrible to live. Mm. So most of my being rejects that part, and it wants to be festive, and it wants to live life and taste life fully and have all the experiences that I could think of having. And so sometimes it wants to liberate itself from my spiritual asceticism or mastery or the spiritual authority, like whatever brings the energy that I need to make this burst and to attain, sometimes feels like a little caged guy that wants to get rid of life as it is. So yeah, this is full of paradoxes, but I understood by what he said that I can overcome this back and forth thing by choosing a sadhana of joy. So in the past week also the energy of Krishna somehow seeped into my life. I have never been super interested in him or his stories, but suddenly they have been coming to me more, and I've started chanting his name. And Sadhguru on Sadhguru Exclusive talks about Krishna having a sadhana of joy. So he didn't do any specific yogic practice, but he just chose to be the best version of himself for everyone and everything, always. So in whatever circumstance in life, he would actually choose to be joyful. And I think that is one of the most powerful things that a person can do if it is authentic. Yeah, if it is authentic. And I think I'm capable of it, or I feel myself becoming more and more capable of it. I can quite easily shift my inner situation and see that whatever brings me sadness, whatever is painful, is usually or always my own doing. And this is where Teal Swan comes in, because it is impossible to just avoid these parts of yourself or to not recognize the pain and then get rid of it. And pain is not bad, it's just an indicator of something. It's just something that wants your attention. And I read a quote the other day on Instagram, also by Teal Swan, and she said that if there's one thing you shouldn't do uh, on a spiritual path, it is to disidentify with certain parts of yourself without first fully loving and accepting them. So it's very easy to get dissociated, or to, like, once you get the hang of meditation, or you know some techniques, or um, you know how to get a little bit distance from whatever is in yourself. It might also be tempting to call only good energy into your life, or like, let me give an example from my personal life. It might be easy to walk over that little caged man that wants to be liberated or die, and to give him loving energy, or to say the word Shambo in the hope that that situation changes, or to just start dancing and let my energy flow and then get into a different state where I don't have to be in touch with this guy because he's painful, like he's a painful experience of myself. Um, and so sadhana of joy wouldn't really mean that I ignored this guy, or it shouldn't mean that I ignored this guy. I'm trying to figure out how these two can go together, that I embrace that being that doesn't want to suffer, and at the same time accept suffering, and at the same time live through joy, or only live joy, and choose to be joyful, and choose to give the best of myself, essentially. Whatever is happening, I will give the best of myself, and there will be no restriction in my energy due to insecurities or anger or fear, regret, grief, all those things that kind of hold you back or hold you down will not limit me. At the same time, they will be there and I will experience them fully. And I accept that they are an integral part of life and pointing to something of importance. So, sadhana of joy. Enjoy being on the spiritual path. Don't get cold feet. Just enjoy that this is what you're doing fully and integrate every aspect of your life into it, instead of seeing it as something that opposes living life, something that opposes living fully, and even giving into what you want to be doing. Like, they should be able to integrate, and the spiritual longing can become part of everything, and life itself, living fully, is what drives the spiritual longing, or should drive it. Yeah, those were my insights today.